What's up, everybody? Hope you're well wherever you are. And in this video, I want to talk about how to get wealthy clients organically through networking. I'm going to give you practical ideas and strategies that you can deploy this week without breaking the bank. A lot of the times when I speak to people, the biggest challenge that they have, once they've gotten a license, they've gotten approved to start operating in their state, they really struggle to figure out who their client is. So if you want to learn how to get clients, especially the wealthy ones, organically, this is the video you want to watch. So 3 practical strategies. A lot of what I'm about to tell you is going to be outside of your comfort zone. If you're the type of person that loves to stay comfortable, that doesn't want to do anything outside the box, then this strategy is not going to work for you. Step number 1, you want to invest in your personal image. Oftentimes when we get to a certain age, I'm guilty of this too myself, we tend to get comfortable in the way we dress, in the way we appear to everybody, because we say to ourselves, well, I feel comfortable in this outfit. I really like this. It feels comfortable to me. So I'm just going to wear what I want to wear. And believe it or not, we all get judged by the way we look. We all get judged by the way we dress. And we might not be self-aware that our personal style is probably gone out of style. How many times have you seen somebody that wears the same hairstyle for years, and when they finally change it, you notice it right away? The point I'm trying to make is this: we often don't realize that we get judged by the way we look. How you present yourself to the world, we all get judged by that. You are your own personal billboard. There are certain people that don't even own a suit. If you're a guy, you don't own a suit, you're doing yourself a major disservice. If you're a lady and you don't own a really good formal outfit, it doesn't have to be a suit, it can be a beautiful dress that is very classy, then you're doing yourself a complete disservice. If you switch your sense of style to be more classy, appealing to your clientele, then you're going to attract like-minded people. You can look good even with things that you get from Goodwill. You can get a really good outfit from Goodwill. If you don't have a lot of money, you can go to a rich neighborhood. There are plenty of rich neighborhoods close to where you live. I know in Atlanta, there are plenty of rich neighborhoods. A bunch of Goodwill stores there. If I needed a good outfit, I'll just go to the rich neighborhood, look for Goodwill, and look for really good outfits that I can buy for the cheap, for a good bargain. The reason why you need to audit and update your sense of style is because it's going to attract people that also have a sense of style. Most often, those people who have a sense of style tend to be on the wealthy end of the scale. If you invest in a dress, if you invest in a really good suit, or if you find a good deal, you can buy 3 good outfits. For the ladies are very lucky because you can get a really good fitting dress, very classy looking, for as little as $100. So that means for $300, you can get 3 outfits. You get a nice good pair of shoes, a nice classy purse, and then upgrade how you look. Step number 2 is you want to do intensive research on where these high-end clientele, these rich clients that you want to go after, the old money, where do these people hang out? I'll give you a good example. We already know that old people like to go to specific restaurants like Cracker Barrel. Find a high-end version of a Cracker Barrel. Old people like to hang out together. There are also events. Look for Facebook events. Look for events on Eventbrite. Do your homework to figure out what rich old people like to do. What kind of activities do they like to do? Do they like to go playing bridge? I don't know. Rich people love curling. It's a very boring sport. Is there a venue where curling happens? Look up the sport curling. You'll know what I'm talking about. You might discover that a lot of them like to go to country clubs that require membership. If you can't afford a membership at that same country club, then figure out a way to network with somebody that works at that country club. It could just be as simple as pulling up there, pretending like you want to inquire about getting a membership. Show up there, maybe become friends with the valet guy. Guy works at the valet. My point is, it requires a lot of work, but these are all practical strategies. Get information on where they hang out. Then number 3 is, if you've identified 3 restaurants that these rich old people like to hang out at, like to go to, then what you need to do is you need to go to these places. So let's say there's a steakhouse that they like to go to. What I would do if I was in your shoes is to dress in your most classy outfit. Then you go to this said steakhouse. Maybe you book a table, or maybe you hang out at the bar. And the trick is to tip really well. You tip the bartender really well so they never forget you. I'm talking about $50, $100. When you tip somebody $100, especially a bartender, they're going to give you all the juicy information about who's who and what's what. What do you do with this information? You go over there and you become a magnet. Let me explain what I mean. Oftentimes, people, what they want to do is they want to do what's called chasing money, chasing clients. Instead, do what everybody else is not doing, which is becoming a magnet, where you're attracting people to come to you. Beautiful women know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're good looking, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's certain good looking people, especially the ladies, that can just go anywhere and just sit around, and people will just come to them, right, and start hitting on them. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. That be that magnet where you're dressed so good, you look so good. Even if you don't look that good, you stand out like a sore thumb to the point where people have no choice to try and figure out what it is that you're doing there. So they can ask you questions. Especially when you stick out like a sore thumb, people will just come to you and start asking you questions. Because there's one thing that we do know for a fact. Rich old people are nosy. Good or bad, they're nosy. And before you know it, they'll start asking you questions and spark up a conversation. And that's why you need to have your 30-second pitch. You need to practice your 30-second pitch. Eventually, the conversation is going to lead up to, so what do you do? Or you could ask them first, so what do you do? And then they're going to ask you, so what do you do? Then you just say, I help people like you fill in the blank. When you tell them exactly what you do, 9 times out of 10, especially with wealthy people, they want to help each other. Especially if you're coming in with good energy, with a good vibe, they'll automatically volunteer more information to you. That's the weirdest thing I've noticed about being around rich people. They like to volunteer information. Probably not rich people only, but people in general, they love to volunteer information. So become that magnet. Let us say that an old person comes to you and says, so what do you do? And then you tell them what you do, that you're in the home care business and you help people of that age. They might volunteer information and say, well, my friend Sally needs this service. And because of your presentation, how you present yourself, they might be more inclined to do business with you or refer you to Sally. This is a very practical, old school way of networking the right way. You're placing yourself in a position for people to want to ask you questions, because people are very inquisitive, especially when you stand out. And this really works, especially if you sound different. Just because you sound different, you look different, does not mean that you cannot do any of these things. In fact, because you're like that, because you're different, you're going to stand out. So let's say you're Hispanic and you go to a predominantly white neighborhood. You're going to stick out like a sore thumb, especially around old people. old people that are like in their 60s and 70s, and you're a young 30-something-year-old Hispanic lady, for example, oh man, and you're looking fly, young 30, 40-something-year-old black person or black woman, black man, and you're dressed real nice and you're looking classy, and you're ordering a nice cocktail or nice tea, whatever, you're looking super classy, you're gonna stand out. They're gonna try and figure out who you are. Look for places like brunch spots, okay, or tea rooms, and preferably places that old people like to hang out during the day. Because majority of these rich old people, they're very responsible. These are people with trust funds. These are people with high net worth. They cannot afford to mess up their lives. They cannot afford to have a hangover because maybe they got to go to work tomorrow. They got too much to lose by being around everybody else. So they tend to want to do things very differently. Maybe do it for 3 months straight, every weekend that you're free. You got free time. Go there, go to these places, and just become a magnet. Practice your conversation skills. Study what rich old people like to do. What activities do they like to do? Watch content about it. So let's say you went to Eventbrite and you discover an event that happens every year. Go to YouTube and see if there's content about it and study what happened last year, what kind of crowd came to that event last year. So you can have something to talk about in the event. And there are also some events that require you to pay money. So let's say there's an event that maybe you have to pay $100 just to get in. Then pay the $100 because you never know. That $100, you might network with some old people that you can get one referral, and that's all it takes. But it requires you to think outside the box. Don't think like everybody else, because once you start thinking like everybody else, you are just going to get the same results as everybody else. Because what everybody else is focusing on is calling up social workers. There's 100 other people in your city that are trying to call up social workers. So that strategy is dead. And once you get your first client, it's going to get you that money so you can invest in things like Google advertising, which I can help you with. Success is something you attract by the person you become. That's the lesson that I've learned over the years. If you still have any questions about how to get clients, or if you already have clients and you're looking to scale that up using Google Ads, then I can help you. Link in the description. I'll put a link in the description of this video that you can schedule some time with me. Ask me all kinds of questions that you have about how to use Google advertising to get you clients and scale up your client acquisition. I hope you got some value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.